If you do not understand white supremacy, what it is, and how it works, everything else that you do understand will confuse you. In all of these 9 areas of activity, economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion,
things should no longer be a debate. You know what I mean? Like, we know it's here, so I know that, I kind of want to get my, generation up on this code. Like, how do I get my generation up on the code?
Well, code is all about what's a code for in any generation. It's about getting things done. Now, it comes down to this one question. What are you trying to do? If you're trying to get something done, so it comes down to what is it that people try to do. What people try to do, if you look at people and listen to them talk and look at the things that we get up in the morning and then go to bed at night and get up the next morning, and what do we do during that time? Most of it is about solving problems. So all code is about solving problems. So you don't have to put it in a box that addresses racism directly, but you can put it in this world view of problem solving and say, if black people get in a mentality, regardless of what generation you're in, if any people get into the mentality of problem solving in the most constructive manner with the aim, first of all, having the aim of being quality people. Quality people means you'll produce quality relationships. And quality relationships are all about solving problems that people have between people, first of all, and then solving other problems that involve people solving problems. So it comes down to just get that focus. And in answer to the question directly, how do you get people on board with that, is simply to ask them questions. And we go here to page 171 and 172 of the compensatory code book, and it always comes down to just those 4 wants, and everything flows from that. And what are the ways that you talk about the 4 wants? Point by point, you do it by saying, what do I want to do? Why do I want to do it? How do I plan to do it? And what do I expect the constructive result to be? Now, if you're looking for a starting point, and you can keep raising these points every minute of the day, really, anywhere you happen to be on the planet, because it applies to everybody. It applies to all creatures, including animals. Animals want to do something. A bird flying through the air wants to go from the top of that lamppost to a tree. And then maybe in a few seconds later, like you see birds do, they suddenly take off south. And then later on, 3 hours later, they come back, same bird, if you recognize it, might have distinctive features where you can, people who do bird watching, comes flying back over going north. Now, why did the bird do that? The bird wanted to do that. For what reasons, the bird knows best. So it's the same with people. People want to do something each and every day. So it's the 4 wants. What do I want to do? Why do I want to do it? How do I plan to do it? And what do I expect the constructive result to be? So in talking with people, trying to get people, to think on another level, which what your question is about, getting people to think about something else other than just entertainment. Or even if they're thinking about entertainment, people usually want to keep thinking about the things that they choose to think about. And the things that people think about or the things that they want to talk about. Otherwise, you were kind of invading their thought space, you might say. And people do not like that. People like to think about and do the things that they are interested in doing, not the things that you think they ought to be interested in doing. And particularly black people, they bristle up real quick when you start invading their thought space about what they ought to be doing. You tell a black person what they ought to be doing, they immediately tighten up because they're told too much of that. I mean, the way that they see it. Somebody in the world, or teachers are telling them this, their mother's telling them this, their father's telling them this. The people in up and down the block that they know are telling them, well, what you ought to be doing is this. And so at an early age, they become resistant to that. We become resistant to it. So that's got to be understood. So the compensatory logic is you take people not from where you think they ought to be. You take them from where they really are. And the best way to do that, the best way for people to be led is for them to lead themselves. And you can do that by asking questions. Because when you ask a question, you cause a person to do what? Think. So those questions, rather than say, what do I want to do, because you always start with that, because what you want to do is have somebody else think at another level. You just said so. So how do you get them to do the same thing, to think at another level? You say, what do you want to do? Question one, why do you want to do it? Because people should have a reason for wanting to do what they want to do. You say, well, I want to have a good time. Well, you never interfere with the answers and never dictate about what a person should be doing. You always just make suggestions, but you save that for later. The main thing you want to do is find out where the person's mind is and answer to your question right at that moment when you ask that question. So you start with, what is it you want to do? Why do you want to do it? And listen very carefully to their answers. Then move to the third question. How do you plan to do it? This thing you want to do, how do you plan to do it? And listen very carefully to the answer. They might say something like, well, I don't have a plan. Well, do you think you need to get one? If you want to do it and you're dead set on doing it, a plan for doing it seems to make sense to me. You can throw in all kinds of intermittent questions, but get back to the basic questions, those four. And then the last one is really important. What do you expect the constructive result to be?